Hey, what's up, family? We got another update from our brother Joshua that I want to have a conversation about. Reason being, I watched his latest interview on the podcast that he frequently gets on, and I found two inconsistencies that kind of raised a red flag. In this video, we're gonna watch the first one, or we're kind of have a conversation about the first inconsistency, and then we're gonna talk about the second one. But let's go ahead and just dive right in. I'm gonna watch it with you guys. I'm really curious what you guys gonna say about this. What you guys thinking? I'm pagan. I just want to know what you guys think.
The rapture in 14 days from now is going to take place.
Hey.
14 days. And I would like to say this to everybody. Before you speak, before you respond, try to silence even your thoughts. Can you hear? Can you feel the storm? There's a storm brewing right now. It's brewing and it's dark. And I'll tell you this. No human being on this earth is ready for what is coming.
Yeah.
Human beings are not built to handle the wrath of God.
Okay, this isn't even one of the inconsistencies, but he said human beings aren't able to handle the wrath of God. If that's the case, he mentions later on that the tribulation saints will be able to come back, and the reason for the rapture is because we're gonna get out of the way for the wrath of God, right? But the tribulation saints will be here. How can they endure the wrath of God if that's the case? That just came to mind right now, but let's keep watching. That's a genuine question though for anyone that wants to answer, because I'm really just
So beyond the rapture that will happen in 14 days on the 23rd of this month, that storm is brewing and is ready to take over the world. To the people who are opposing my message, who look at me and think I am just one more, and even pull up scriptures, to oppose what I'm saying. This is what I have to say to you. On that day of the 23rd, who is God going to back up? You or me? Whose words are going to fall to the ground? Mine or yours?
That's interesting, because from what I've seen, the people that I guess you would say oppose him, it's not that someone else has another word, it's that they're upholding the words of God in the Bible. That's just the only, I guess, pushback. So it's not about like my words or your words. It's his words or the word of God, from my understanding. I don't know. That was an interesting comment.
I'll say this again. The date of the 23rd, which is going to be the rapture of the church, this date is irrefutable.
It's final.
It is final. It is...
What day of the week is it? I haven't even checked.
I think it's Tuesday.
Sure.
Today. This date cannot be disproven. In fact, no one has disproven this date. People have said a lot of things on the internet, but no one has proven this date. No one. So, I say again, you have to listen to what I say, because the words that are coming out of my mouth are coming straight from the mouth of the Almighty God.
Okay, so that would mean he's a prophet then, but he doesn't claim to be a prophet. So that's what I find interesting as well. I'm never I'm not a billion% sure of anything. That's the compelling thing about this man. And what makes me like very intrigued is like I'm not billion% sure about anything other than that I'm about to move my fingers right now. Like that type of certainty I've never heard before. And I know that's what's moving people to look to see what he has to say and test the spirit behind everything and all that, which I think is biblical and fine. But yeah, that's just what's so interesting.
So none of the words that I speak will fall to the ground. None of them will be empty. Every single thing that I have said, because I'm in line with him, every single thing that I have spoken will come to pass.
You're 100% confident.
100% does not
1,000%.
do it for me. I'm
Million.
a billion% sure.
So basically, I'm not saying this is what he's saying, but I mean not but he's aligned with God. You're not. That's why you don't have the interpretation. I'm not saying that's what he's saying, but I feel like some other people are are praying about this like myself and not getting that type of revelation. So therefore that makes one to potentially think that they're not in line with God, that they're not saved, and therefore believing that this is supposed to happen, on the 23rd or 24th, if it's a requirement for your salvation. If you kind of see the tea leaves kind of going, you know what I mean? That's where there's a little bit of concern kind of building up. But that's not even the inconsistency I wanted to talk about. We're going to continue on.
Something that I don't mention to people, I didn't mention to people when I give this testimony in this part. From this day that he gave me the date of the rapture, I began to hear literally in my ear the sound of the trumpet. Now, I want to describe that in other people's testimonies, or I hear how other people say the trumpet will sound.
Yeah.
I hear that, and I'm not disputing. But the way the trumpet sounded to me was like the horn or the honk, I don't know, they call it honking, of a cruise ship. Have you ever heard when a cruise ship is docking?
Yeah.
That sound, that says,
That
like,
deep
yeah, but
sound,
that deep sound.
Yo.
So that is the sound I began to hear day to day to day to day. It was not in my ear, but I could. It is if God opened my ears and my hearing could hear something that was happening in heaven. Let me say.
Sure.
The sound of the trumpet kept ringing, and it didn't only ring, it had a message. Tell the people. When I was being raptured in this vision, when I was going up, the earth and the buildings were shaking. And I wonder if this is not from the impact of the graves being opened up, including the power that God will be using to transform in a split second this body, all over the world, and many people. So everybody, those who are dead in Christ and us who are alive, who are Christians, will meet in the clouds. And then this will all take part in a split second. From the clouds, we will then go up to meet him in the air. I said it last time. People confuse this. Jesus will not be waiting in the clouds. I know because in an open vision, I'm not sleeping. I stood up there in the atmosphere with him, in space just close to earth,
Yeah.
just above earth. He was he was on my right and we were looking down to earth. So he didn't look at me, and he had a stern face. He had a very stern face. He was so serious and he was focused on the earth. So when I looked to the globe,
Yeah.
the earth, I couldn't see what he was seeing because I just saw a map.
Oh,
But he gave me, remember,
the thoughts.
thoughts.
Yeah.
He gave me an insight into what he was looking at. So he was looking at the sin that people are living in, are committing in the world, and the wickedness that is going on in the planet Earth. Now listen, these two things, when I look at his face, he gave me the insight that he was angry. I wish I can describe the anger of God.
Yeah.
Okay.
They say to me, messiahs will appear, false Christ, and I'm a false Christ. I've been called all sorts of names, by
I
the
can
way.
imagine.
I've been called Satan.
And I think that's, one thing that we didn't speak about is that I think it takes so much courage, to confidently carry a message and share it gracefully over and over again, even when there is an influx of people who are opposing it and calling you all sorts of names, a false prophet, this and this and this, it's unknown spirits but I mean, how does that make you feel? And then I think there's a balance, right, Millicent? But more so, there's more people who believe it. I can say on our side, from the reception,
Feedback.
from the feedback, I can say 80% of the people are like, I believe this message. And then the little 20% of people who are opposing the message. How does that make you feel? What are your thoughts? And the names that you mentioned that they're calling you, how do you deal with that? Because you're still human at the end of the day,
That's accurate. You would, maybe all of you guys, maybe 80% of you guys here, can see that there's mostly people that believe this is gonna happen, and there's no judgment or whether you think it's gonna happen or not. I don't think that's a salvation thing or anything like that. But and I think credit to why people believe it is because of how confident he is, which I honestly respect, like how bold he's walking in obedience with what he truly believes God is telling him. Because I don't think he's purposely being deceptive. I just I do think it's incorrect in terms of what the Bible is showing me from my interpretation. I will say that. But I don't think he's intentionally being like malicious or anything like that. Um, most people do believe it. The inconsistency, I think it should be coming up soon. He kind of alluded to it. I don't know if you caught it. I made a face earlier, but he's gonna talk about it here pretty soon.
Let's try to get over, to list the names again. I've been called false prophet, Satan, demon possessed,
Sure.
or have a demon, a soothsayer, I'm working with the spirit of divination, I'm a liar, and all sorts of stuff. To be honest with you, there's not even one word from these words that affect me. I sleep in peace. I sleep in peace.
Yeah.
God said to me one day, concern yourself with obeying me and deliver my message. Don't worry about convincing people about this message. You do what I tell you. The rest, leave leave everything to me. I laugh at the comments that say I'm lying and I'm satanic and all those negative comments, because I don't recognize that. Like, I know that's not me. I know I'm not satanic. So I don't recognize the person they say I am. That's why I laugh at those comments. On the 23rd, I'll be doing a live.
Oh, wow.
Okay? I want to show you what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I'll be doing a live for the whole day. So I will not be doing a live on the 24th because I won't be here on the 24th.
There it is. I respect that he's going to go live the entire day. That is very, very bold. And I honestly think that leads me to believe something is going to happen, even if it's not the rapture. And I'm kind of worried about what that is. I do like that thought just kind of came up earlier today. Maybe it's true or not. Maybe I don't know. It just popped up in my head earlier today. Like, what if something does happen? Because if he's so certain, something he communicated with something, someone. What if something does happen? He mentioned he's not going to be there on the 24th. That's the first inconsistency. I thought the whole point of the idiom was that no one knows the day or the hour, but he alludes through this entire conversation that it's going to be on the 23rd. Now, granted, he says that it's going to be the 24th for some people based on the time zones, but it'll be on the 23rd. If it was really on the 23rd or the 24th, then potentially if the 23rd doesn't happen and if it's on the 24th, then it should be like, and I could be wrong. Maybe I'm like stupid when it comes to this stuff. Maybe if it's not the 23rd and it ends up being on the 24th, then maybe it'll be on the 25th for some people. I'm not sure. That's kind of what I'm getting. But if it's narrowed down because it needs to be in the window of the 23rd or the 24th, and to make it fit where both everyone in the world will be within those 2 days, the 23rd or the 24th, that sounds like it's a single day. You get what I'm saying? That's not what I was under the impression of when I first heard the idiom about the Feast of Trumpets, the day that no one knows the day or the hour. Does that make sense? So that's the first inconsistency. At this Today, I was like, all right, man. It's like, all right, I don't know. I don't know. Either way, like I said, I don't think he's purposely being like malicious or anything. But either way, I will see all of this as an immense blessing in a sense, because I've never seen so many people waking up as far as like understanding their, I don't want to say immortality or mortality, but in this case, I guess jumping up to immortality. People understanding like, yo, he could have come back. And usually because I don't think people usually think that they could die any second, even though that should be how we're thinking. You can see the Lord any day. Like you can die today. But I think realizing this is another added layer, like, hey, he could come back, and I want to make sure that he's Lord of my life. I don't want to just have said a confession and live my life as if Satan was my father. I want to say this confession and see this transformed life being produced and measurable and seen through from myself, but also through the world. Be that lamp that's lit, on the hill. So, but yeah, that was the first inconsistency. I was like, okay, what's going on? So, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Is this a red flag or not? I'm really curious what you guys think. Look for part two. We're gonna talk about the second inconsistency because I think it might be directed to me. I don't know. I was like, what? So we'll talk about it. Love you guys.